Cool. And we're live.
What's up, Christian?
What's going on, man?
What's up, dude?
Yeah. This is Honda Vlogs Podcast 3 with DJ Sleeperhonda yet again. I'm hoping to make this weekly, maybe? Trying to do something a little more consistent, Just more conversations about, normal stuff. Honda, life, the community. But, yeah. That's about the intro. How you been, dude?
I've been good, man.
Yeah?
Yep. Just cruising through life, man. Shit's been interesting.
Yeah, dude. I don't even know where to start here, but I guess well, fuck it, dude. How's the NSX, dude?
So, all right. I guess that's interesting.
Yeah, might as well.
An obvious place to start there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NSX is good, dude. I just crossed over 90,000 miles, and I'm doing my whole 90K interval service on it right now.
Crazy.
And I noticed recently that the upper radiator hose engine side was kind of bulging, right?
Yeah.
And so I have the entire coolant system upgrade on the way, ready to go, but I decided to go out for a drive, and then sure enough, I'm just driving on the freeway and the upper radiator hose bursts.
God.
So I just see a bunch of steam, and I'm kind of I'm just checking the rearview mirror, and then I see my temp go up slightly, and I'm just nope, time to get off the freeway. So I get off the freeway, and tow truck guy comes, and so I'm like, oh great, I gotta deal with the tow truck now. So
did you tell them to bring a flatbed?
Oh yeah,
okay,
for sure. I reiterated on the phone too. I was just like, hey, this needs to happen.
Yeah, if you send not a flatbed, yeah, I am sending it back.
Yeah, and I always tend to go a little over the top and be like, this is an exotic car. It needs protection.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
Someone needs to be careful. But so yeah, they come over, and then the tow truck, he sets it up, stances it out and everything, gets it ready for me to drive up. I drive up, not even a scrape, dude. And I was pretty blown away. I was like, wow, my car is really low.
Did you drive it up, or
yeah,
just
drove it right up.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just like, you want to do it, or you want me to do it? And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I don't want.
No, but did you turn it on and drive it up, or okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
you have some time. You're not.
I didn't really freak out about the incident that went down. I knew that I stopped the car in time before the temperature got out of control and everything. So I was just like, it's cool. To turn it on for a few minutes, or not a few minutes, but maybe 30 seconds to do something like that, I wasn't even tripping. But yeah, drove it up there, and he was like, yeah, it's a 2017 tow truck. This baby's nice. I was like, shit.
Oh, shit. All right.
That baby is nice.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then, sure enough, freaking Ken over at Motorsport Techniques called me back, and he was like, hey, what's up, dude? And I was like, hey, gotta bring my car to you? And he was just like, all right, sure, because he's the one I'm doing all my coolant stuff with. So it's like, yeah, we're better, no better time than now.
Dude, because it'd be a pain if you had to bring it home, and then he's like, hey, bring your car, and you'd be like, okay, I guess I have to call AAA again and re-tow it.
It's because where I park my car is tricky,
right,
to get it in and out. So to store it for a couple nights, then bring it back out. I don't even want a couple of guys putting their hands on my car to push it, on the tail light or whatever. It's no, I'd rather not even
more
deal
accidents
with that.
impossible to happen.
Yeah.
So what are you getting in the 90K, or what is recommended for the 90K?
So you always, I guess before the tune-up, you're really supposed to do maybe, I don't know, to be real, someone's gonna definitely tell me I don't know my shit, but I think it's extra every 60,000 miles you should do the timing belt and the water pump, or maybe not those, but you definitely need to do the radiator hoses.
I heard there's a lot of them. It's not just one.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's an ongoing community joke, because there's extra.
Yeah, I've been under a few while it was up on the rack, and it's really strange. Obviously, because the radiator's in the front of the car and the engine's in the back.
Yeah.
So there's these long pipes that run from the front to the back.
Yeah. So those aluminum pipes run down the center of the chassis of the car. Right. So then you basically just have an upper and lower radiator hose for the front and the back. So you have the radiator in the front and the engine in the back. So it's 4 hoses. It's really not like
that's cool. Okay.
23 hoses or whatever people say, which is hilarious.
I'm just like, God damn, if that's true, it's terrible. That's terrible.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's nothing like RX-70 or anything.
Oh my god, dude. RX-7's fucking crazy. We get a bunch of them at the shop, and like this one dude, his engine caught fire, which is like not uncommon for RX-7s. At least FDs, they just catch fire. And I think there's like, this is less of an exaggeration of like probably at least 10 feet of vacuum lines underneath the intake manifold or the intake pipe or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think like that's one of the biggest reasons like people spend a lot of money on their FDs. Well, not the biggest reason, but like as soon as that goes, and it's only like OEM stock FDs. A lot of people are. I'm learning all this now because I work at the shop and stuff now. So it's like if you go single turbo, you do not need all the vacuum lines. It very much is just a giant turbo fed right into the engine. But I think somehow possibly like maybe Mazda needed that for emissions or something. You know what I mean? Because like even the very very early Hondas had like thousands of fucking vacuum lines. But that shit's just fucking crazy. Yeah. I don't understand that at all.
It's like the car's like weird quirks and issues are kind of related to the era or the year of which when it came out, you know, rather than like the kind of car itself. Like you might be like, you know, this type of car kind of sucks, you know, but it's from the 80s. It's like, well, that car had no choice but to suck.
It had no choice. It had no choice.
It was doomed to like, you know, what was the gas crisis in 79 or something?
Something like that.
So then like the early 80s and mid 80s or even all of the 80s cars really, they just have they have it the worst.
A gas crisis.
Yeah.
How insane, I mean, neither of us know, but like imagine having a gas crisis where like, does your license plate start with a D? Yeah, you can get gas today. Like,
I mean, what? Dude, I'm not gonna lie, like, it sucks that the thing that I'm passionate about is like, is also like the ability for me to be able to like enjoy the thing I do is piggybacking off of the idea that like there's this income of gasoline is gonna keep it happening, and I'll always be able to get some, and oil and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I always think about like if I had like maybe 4 or 5 oil changes and like a couple drums of 91 octane like stored away somewhere after the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, you know.
I could just like huck it back to like my metal container, like open my shit up, like do an oil change in my car and just like, you know, just like burn out on the streets.
Just keep going.
Like, smash.
I can't imagine. Like I would really hate for there to be a point in time where like we do run out of gas and it's like, okay, how does this run now? Like if we do run out of like oil or we cannot get it anymore and like produce gasoline, like that would pretty much end like the combustion engine, I guess, at some point.
I think the technology is going to change before like we completely run out.
Right.
I don't think we're going to use every last drop. I think it'll end up like the technology will pivot into like electric and, you know, this other route, and then for a while people that want to remain using primitive technologies, there won't be as much of a need for that, for oils and stuff anymore. So I think like
so do you think that as electric vehicles ramp up that less people will have gasoline cars, so it's kind of like there'll be less drain on it because less people actually want it or are using it the whole time?
In my utopian idea of how I really hope the future of cars goes is that, well, we already know that like cars are going to be on a subscription based service before you know it. Like, you know, all these Priuses and like, you know, Camrys and just like your generic, you know, commuter cars on the road, all those people are going to be the first ones in line to buy, you know, the Apple car or any of these cars that are going to be like, oh, cool, for $39 a month I can get like the equivalent of like a Yaris that drives me around when I summon it with my app.
God, that'd be
you know
crazy.
What I mean? But that's for sure on its way. I've already read some articles saying that it's happening. So then, you know, then you could pay like, you know, however much and get like a premium or S-Class service where you have like, you know, a nice ass Mercedes.
You'll just show up.
Yeah. So, you know, so there's that coming. But like I was saying, in my utopian vision, which I really hope would happen, is that most of the percentage of people that commute are going to convert over to this new system with electric cars and this like self-driving thing. And it's going to be to the point where not very many people are going to be left driving gasoline cars. There'll be like a certain, there'll be a lot of them left, but not enough to where it's going to be like you're going to need to have jobs for smog or regulations and stuff like that. So hopefully they'll, uplift that kind of stuff.
That'd be crazy.
And then it's like, okay, if you still want to be driving your gasoline, like, guzzling car out here, like, you can, because you're such a small minority of people that actually drive that. How much longer are you going to drive your thing around anyways? Let's just let them, let people.
Yeah, I saw this, kind of to go with that is, like, I saw this article where Ford is going to start producing, like, a shit ton of electronic vehicles. Like, they're not really going to compete, like, with the huge power. They're not going down the road of, like, how much power we can make now. And I think Ford wants to make, like, what was it, like 43 different kind of cars? I might have the number way off, but literally they're going, like, all in on electric vehicles, which would make sense with your theory, because Ford is like it's the oldest, if not the oldest car company, and they're now literally just going to switch over to full electric. Mm-hmm. That, like, if in the next 10 years, like, they don't really make too many gas engines,
dude, I think about our friend James sometimes, because this one time he told me, he's just like, dude, no matter what, there's always going to be a way to smog your car. There's always going to be a way to get parts that you're not supposed to have. There's always going to be that way, because there's a community of people that have been tuners and enthusiasts of cars for generations that are technically running this entire industry because of the trickle down from, like, race components lead to, like, cheaper commuter regular cars, right? So I'm thinking, like, we're getting to the end of that point soon, and now it's like race car parts aren't really trickle down, because we have the components as far as, like, brakes and whatnot, like, I mean, working pretty much as good as they really can work at this point. And if we're using electric motors, well then, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be developing race car parts the same way that we are anymore. So that's going to be a completely different sector of type of car. Yeah. Or type of hobby or experience, it's not going to be ingrained in, like, your everyday thing. It's not going to be like something you have in your garage and stuff anymore. It's true. I don't know, like,
no, it's crazy, weird, because that's also how, like the Tesla racing channel, I think that was a YouTube channel where these guys are basically just, like, racing Teslas, or, like, a long time ago, what was it, like the 510, the full lithium 510,
the white zombie,
and it's just kind of like, okay, now combustion engine parts, or, like, pistons and motors, are becoming, like, more rare to find, and everyone's trying to figure out how to, like, charge and uncharge these giant lithium batteries.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was thinking about, like, James's RC car, his what is it, the 18th scale, like, his what is that, trophy truck?
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that trophy truck to scale, like, if you had that exact geometry of the way all the connecting arms and all of, like, the linkage and stuff, if you had that to scale, it would be, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars, because of, like, the engineering that would need to go into it to be at that scale. Because at a small scale, you don't have to use, like, as complex components and everything.
Yeah.
So when I was looking at this thing, I'm just like, dude, when I'm seeing how fast it takes off, how fast it brakes, and how quick and agile it is, I was like,
are you saying to get actual components to take that kind of abuse?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like James's car, I feel like we tracked it, but I don't know, but it for sure hit 80, and it was instant.
Dude, so I was thinking that's the look into the future. As soon as that stuff becomes to scale to what we're looking at now, I mean, look at the Tesla Roadster. It's just going to be like, zoot, zoot, like, stop, go. I mean, but here's another thing about that, like, the car community can feel like we got shit on all day by that Tesla Roadster because of how fast it claims that it's going to be. But, like, the thing that we have going against it is, like, I mean, it can't keep doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to have a track date on that thing. I mean, charge is one thing that we will overcome, I guess, at some point, so that's not going to be an issue at some point. But nonetheless, the abuse of, like, having people talk shit about front-wheel drive, doing all the work in a front-wheel drive car. Think about the engine literally doing all the work. I mean, it's accelerating hard and braking hard constantly over and over again, and that's literally the only thing that's,
moving.
That's controlling the entire thing.
Yeah, its moving parts are, like, literally expelling all of its juice, and then when you brake, it's refilling all of these batteries.
So, like, that car, like, against the new NSX, like, okay, in a quarter mile, for sure it's gonna beat it. Probably a P100D probably can beat an NSX too, but
that'd be interesting,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, probably be a good race. But either way, okay, go around a track a couple times or against the NSX. Like, that's when you're going to be like, oh, okay, like, there's so much more that has went into the development, you know, of this car than just, like, having a motor. That's crazy, you know?
Exactly.
You know?
But, like, I was even talking to this guy I know who has driven or been in the new Tesla Roadster, and where it was just like, dude, how fast is it? And he would just tell me, like, oh, dude, it's insanely fast. But he honestly doesn't believe people will be able to, like, or not be able to, like, but it's almost not as fun as we think it is. Like, the amount of G's that gets put on your body to go that fast constantly would be sickening. You know what I mean? It's like when you see videos of people that go up in a fighter jet and take G's. Like, how many times can you just take that many fucking G's? I mean, the first time would be fun.
Yeah. So no, I totally hear what you're saying. So it's kind of like the experience you're going to get from this very computerized vehicle that you're driving around is going to be like you're peacocking, because when people see it, they're gonna be like, I know that thing is fast. That's cool.
Yeah.
But the only other thing that you got going for it is that feeling of going so fast. Unlike anything that we've have, you know, on the market, is that eyeball peeling fast. But other than that, like, you don't have anything else. Like, I was cracking up today because, like, kind of going off how this conversation started, you were asking me how my NSX is.
Yeah.
It's in the shop right now, and I'm driving the Del Sol around again. And, like, dude, like, I'm just cracking up laughing when I drive that car because of how obnoxious it is. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like,
what do you mean
it's
how obnoxious
funny.
it is?
Well, so, man, talk about night and day with the gearing. I'm going from an NA1 NSX transmission, USDM spec, so I have that, like, second gear that goes to 81 miles an hour. So
81 miles an hour.
So when you drive the NSX, like, that gearing, it just in itself makes it feel like a gentleman's car.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of just chilling for a lot of the time before you really shift. But then, like, the Del Sol has the K20A, like, JDM gearing, so it's just, like, literally, like, starting off in second, you could just do that. You really don't even need first. But, like, if you do use first, you're just like, rant, 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 rant. You're like, dude, fifth gear going 25 miles an hour. I'm not kidding. Yeah, fifth gear and 25 miles an hour. Like, sixth gear is, like, maybe going, if you're going around, like, 40, then you could probably throw it in sixth. But, like,
just hold it. And
like,
it's still just wide open. Like, just blah.
Another thing that's weird is, like, I guess, like, the chassis is so light, like, you basically don't even need to put any gas in. Like, if you're going in reverse or in first gear, you just let off the clutch and it just starts moving forward. If you just let off slow enough, it'll just start driving forward.
That's crazy.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do think about it, like, I mean, that motor is supposed to, like, push an RSX around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so it's like another 1,000 pounds. So you already have that on top of just, like, okay, this gearing is just crazy.
Yeah, it's just a lot of torque.
Yeah.
For a Del Sol.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about this earlier, that, like, I was watching a lot of StickyDealJoe.com's videos, or the Chronicles videos, and all the cars that are in there, which was cool. I think there was they had, like, a root beer colored EG with an RSX interior, but it was a supercharged K20A. And then there was I believe, like, the Spoon FD2 was also a K20A that they turbocharged. And it's just like, obviously there's K24s out there, like the TSX swap and all that stuff, but nobody goes wrong with the K20A. And it's like what we were talking about, that, like, oh yeah, you want that torque for that K24, but it's like, most people say, like, I mean, some Hondas are basically known for, like, spinning all the way to third. It's like, at what point do you need 250, 300 pounds of torque in your 2,000-pound Civic?
Yeah, not in a front-wheel drive car running street tires, not at all.
Like,
even our 888s, dude, it's like, dude, 150 horsepower will get you off the line just fine in a Honda, dude.
Because,
like,
I mean,
you're good.
I think the biggest thing, at least in my perspective, that, like, if you can spin all day, like, you can just spin it to win it all day long down the track, but, like, if you can get your car to actually hook, like, then you can accumulate speed, or at least you're a little bit more, like, grippy. Yeah. But, like, you just see these cars that are just burning it through first, second, third gear, and then fourth, and finally fucking race, dude. You get all the way to the end of the track, and it's like, I never fucking got traction, dude. I was spinning the whole way. It's like, shit, bro. That's crazy.
But so I don't know. Like, I guess cycling our conversation back. Like, I just don't know if new cars are gonna have that excitement, man. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
That real just like, I mean, we talked about this too. Like in the future, it's like even right now, like you could buy any car. Like you could drive across the entire country, and it's no surprise you got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in my Del Sol, like even though I could claim how reliable it is, and like I know in my heart that it's a Honda and that it's reliable as fuck, and I can really depend on it. Still, no matter what, like I think about this like this metal robotic structure that I've been driving, and I'm like, I got here. It's like when we go to Vegas.
Yeah, dude, that's literally all I think about.
Fucking got here.
Yeah, there's many times, and it's always on the drive back. The drive there, you're just like, fuck it, let's just get to Vegas. And then on the way back, it's always like, okay, show's over, meet's over, we're all just going home now. And I specifically remember this time because we were coming back from like the last like Vegas invasion we went to. And it was you, me, Stu, I forget who else, but Stu's just a maniac, dude. Like this guy was just on Team Soul Cow, and he had a Del Sol, and it was a supercharged Jackson Racing supercharged white single cam, and I think he was already in his 50s already, and he was just a total hoon. But like he was leading the pack coming home, and we were still going 85, 90 miles an hour, and like we weren't pushing Stu, we were like keeping up with the guy. But anyways,
it's like an 11-hour drive.
Yeah, dude, because we stop and meet up and then stop, and then we split up with the SoCal group. But so this is what I always remember is driving all the way back, and it's always like, we got to prepare for Vegas, and preparing for Vegas, like you have months, but literally it's like the day before, like, fuck, I got to do my oil, got to do my trans, got to get everything set up, and then you're coming back from Vegas, and you're just holding the steering wheel, practically sitting on the floor. You're going like 85, 90, 100 miles an hour.
With your buddy in the passenger seat.
Yeah, with your buddy in the passenger seat. And all I can think about is like the fucking Haynes manual, right? Where you just see like the wheel and then it explodes out, the knuckle, the bearing, all the bolts, your cotter pin, like everything goes out. And in your head, you're just like, oh my God, we're making it, boys. We're fucking making it. Like this old thing is all just together, and in your head you're just like, it's just me in this little car, dude.
There's something about having it, dude. There totally is something about having that mechanical element to it. Yeah, that makes it, it's not a computer. It's this. It's more like a robot, dude. Yeah. It's so science fiction, man. Like cars I can nerd out on, man. But like, man, I these older cars, especially the ones in the 90s, there's enough. It's like the maximum amount of old it's like the peak of old technology before things crossed over. I feel like as soon as it went from throttle cable to throttle by wire, I feel like as soon as that transition happened is when cars made a big transition.
Huge difference, dude. A huge difference. Like the first generation RSXs are still like a throttle body.
Oh, dude, I knew what I wanted else to bring up and talk to you about is how
tough. No.
Yeah, this you reminded me earlier, but so think about, I don't know, I was thinking about the ninth gen Civic, dude.
Okay. Yep.
And when that car came out, like I kind of cared. I was like, wow, the Civic's trying to keep up with everybody. It's got a 2.4 in it. It's only got, I think it only had like 201 horsepower, but it was that torque. And, and I was just like, okay, well, I was kind of over the Civic thing by then, so I was kind of like not paying too much attention, but of course it's a Honda guy.
I want to see what's coming out.
Fucking know everything about it, actually. What am I talking about? But like, but you're like, okay, because it's a new thing. You don't like the new stuff as much until it takes a while to permeate. Then you're like, oh, I like it now. Yeah. But so, and now that the new Civic Si is the 1.5 liter turbo, it's like, I was talking to my roommate about how special his car was just because it was a K20 Doc VTEC motor in his Civic.
The FG2?
And how that's actually more similar to the new Type R than the new SI is to the Type R. Yeah. Yeah. And so like 8th gen Civics are like how cool those are, and it's like the 9th gen Civic is like it's the last Civic to have a motor that big. It's the biggest a Civic motor had ever gotten. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't think we're ever going back there.
No.
But, like, I think now...
You're saying the FG2, like the K20 that's in it?
Yeah, I'm talking about the 9th gen.
Oh, the 9th gen, yeah.
The K24 one.
Yeah.
So, there's, like, that was that like, that was that displacement rat race. That's how far the Civic one got. And then all of a sudden now we took a step back, and now we're introducing a new technology. Now there's the turbo.
Yeah.
And so now it's 1.5. I can imagine the SI staying this route now, being high tech, fancy, different drive modes, turbocharger, 1.5 liter, like, seems like the route that they're going to stick with on that.
Yeah.
I can't see Civics ever going back to a 2.4 liter, if at all, a 2.0 liter on a non-Type R.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the cool thing is, like, kind of like fanboying on Honda, I guess, but I mean, whatever. I've always felt that Honda, obviously they're about racing. It's always been a thing, you know, like you get anybody in like a ratty Civic and they think everyone wants to race them at some point, right? But I guess where I'm going is Honda, I always think, is very in tune with their fan base and their community, and everyone knows, like, oh, what do you want, right? And so Honda, in my opinion, has tried to give their enthusiasts what they wanted any possible way they could get it to us. Obviously in Japan they get cooler stuff faster, but in the US we have all these rules, and I honestly do think it's because, like, the American market didn't want to let the Japanese market, like, or the, you know, like, international market
what's funny
win.
is when you're leading up to what you're saying right now, I was kind of disagreeing with you. I was like, Honda, no they don't, no, what do you mean, Honda's not giving us what we want? And then it's like, well, shit, dude, we just got the Type R.
Yeah.
We weren't gonna get that.
No.
Like,
so
got that.
Here's how I think we got the Type R.
Yeah.
And this might just be me being crazy, but here we go, right? So, like, obviously Acura is Honda, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. And so in the LS we got the 1.8, right? And then the 92 to 93 Integra we got the first B17, like we got the first VTEC. And then obviously in like 94 the Del Sol got the B16 A3, and then 97 you got the A2. And then they wanted to get 2 liters. How do we get to 2 liters? Okay, well, here's this bigger motor. I don't know if this is true, but I personally think, like, okay, 2 liter couldn't have happened in a sedan. It couldn't have happened in a coupe. So they're like, fuck it. SUV, CRV, we have the 2 liter, B series. We just bored out an LS block. So now, maybe from our perspective, the tuner perspective, we're like, I could just take that 2 liter and put it into my car.
Like, thank you, Honda gods,
thank you
for giving me.
You gave us our 2 liter displacement engine out of a CRV, right? And so everybody else was starting to fuck with forced induction, and so they're like, Honda is about economy, so how do we keep pushing this? Later on in Acura, the MDX gave us our first turbo, like, legal turbo engine.
Yep.
And then, you know, like, we can fast forward to now the new Type R is a turbo, like other Civics are turbos, but it's like they slowly found a way to, like, prove out their tech in different models and stuff, you know what I mean?
People don't give Honda enough credit for not fucking up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Honda, over the lifespan of them, you know, minus the Takata thing, which was widespread amongst many makes and models, it's like, Honda never fucks up, dude. Like, when have you ever... Okay, and on that being said, it's like, we also have been running, like, 600-700 horsepower in stock trannies, like, all day for years.
Yeah, case in point, Boosted Boys, that fucking built-ass minivan is a junkyard H22.
Dude, that's hella weight. And you know, and they're putting all that on that stress on that tranny.
And he blew third gear at 730 horsepower. Junkyard, who knows how many miles it had, and that's just an OEM trans.
Hey, have you noticed at all that, like, I mean, and it happened fast, that talking shit about Hondas is not really happening anymore?
No.
Like,
no.
It got to the point where it wasn't just a couple of miscellaneous videos on YouTube that some, like, guys can be like, pull up and be like, no, dude, look, man, this Honda's fast. Got to the point where it's like 1320 covered hell of them.
Yep.
And then it got to the point where it's like, well, actually, when you do go out to, like, Sacramento Speedway, like, what do you see? A ton of Hondas every time.
Always.
You know, like,
and it's not just because we're the drag rats, you know, not like track rats, but the drag rats. But it's just kind of like, you want to get into this? Cool. It's well established. A B series can hit fucking 700 horsepower, 600 horsepower. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah, I just think overall, I just haven't seen people hating like they used to, man. It's funny.
It's true.
Yeah, I could see that sentiment changed. I mean, dude, I'm sure I'm fucking missing bunch of videos on the internet, but I mean, there's NA front wheel drive Hondas doing 9s, you know?
9s.
It's like, Jesus,
what?
Dude. Like, I can't talk enough shit. Like, I can't. Like, how. It's just a little four-banger, man.
I know. It's just a little four-banger. And I love the fact that, like, no one's giving up. You know what I mean? Like, I think, okay, D-Series, I don't think anyone's doing coil packs on D-Series. They just got their own shit going on. They just boost the shit out of D-Series, and we know that makes power. And then B-Series, they're like, how do we get rid of this distributor? Oh, well, we can just take the coils, and then now we got better timing. I talked to a bunch of people, like Subaru people. They're like, wait, how long did you guys have distributors? We're like, well, into the 90s, like late 90s, before we like stopped having B-Series with fucking distributors. Because like, I don't know about Mazda, but I'm pretty sure Mazda had coil pack, had a distributor. It's possibly, I'm not sure. But I know Subaru has had coil packs for
Nissan
like ever.
did too.
Coil packs?
Yeah, because my 300ZX had coil packs.
Okay, so it's like, and everyone's just like, wait, what? You still have a distributor? And I'm like, still.
Yeah, I get that. I got that a lot too. People were like, dang, you still got a distributor? Like, it made the engine seem like it was more ancient or old.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I mean, Honda just used what they knew and what they knew well. And dude, like, I mean, those distributors are the cause of many
headaches.
many headaches.
Many headaches.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
It's oh my god.
Yeah,
actually,
I'm not gonna go ahead.
Case in point, this kid I know, literally, I saw one of his Instagram stories where his car just died, and I think he made a story, and he was just kind of like, I don't know, my tack is spazzing out, and I saw it, and instantly I knew what it was. I was like, dude, it's the control module in your distributor. And he's like, I don't know, dude, I don't know. And he got it towed home, and it worked for a couple days, and then it just died again. And I'm like, how long did it just go?
Hey, hold on. I'm cracking up because you helping somebody out with their distributor is just like... It's like somebody has handed them God. Because, like, that is a Christian problem.
Dude.
How many times pulling up to your ex-girlfriend's house did I see her hood open? I'm like, oh, cool, this guy's doing something to his car. I look over and you just have your distributor all apart. And I'm like, God, man, you're having distributor problems again on this thing?
It's terrible, dude. But,
and then I think it's your Del Sol has, like, the MSD system on there. And so that thing seems like it's fucking strange,
dude, to this day, even when people see it, they're like, what is this? It's just like, it's an igniter outside of the distributor, and then I have two wires that are like fucking tied into the
it's just why
yeah,
like what?
But I've tried to make it run without it.
Yeah,
nope. I mean, if I went out and I was just fucking smart and I went out and I just bought a brand new distributor and just been like, never needed that, but that would fix it. But right now, in its state, I don't question things and it runs. But yeah, dude, that fool, like, his car wouldn't fucking start, and it's like, it suddenly like went out completely, and I was just like, it's this thing, dude. Like, if there's anything in life that I know, it's that module. And like, literally, he replaced it, and he's just like, hey, my car works. I'm just like, I know. That fucking thing. And it's like, every time that goes out, because I like it always happens on a different car, and it's like $60. Literally, it's like $60.
What
and
is it?
Like,
it's like some brushes and shit.
No. It's the it's like it's the ignition control module. It's like, I think it's the brains in the distributor. Like, it actually tells the rotor when to fucking go to the next cylinder. Right. It just like fires. But as soon as that starts to go wacky, your tack is just like, I don't know where I'm at anymore, because I'm fairly sure your shit's just fucking going crazy. But yeah, like, I instantly knew that, and I'm just kind of like, and that is the cause of a lot of fucking problems. The goddamn distributor.
Yeah, I guess like on the plus side, you could like advance and retard your timing easier, right?
I guess. Yeah, just like spin it, and where do we want to be? God. Yeah. It's pretty funny. It's also pretty funny to time your car off like what sounds like a healthy Honda. Yeah. Like, get a timing light. Yeah. Obviously, that's the proper way to do it. But you just like, you loosen that 10 mil, and you're just like, and it runs hella well, right? Yeah. So it's just like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know where we left off here.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. That was the other thing we were talking about earlier. And I was actually talking about this with some coworkers, because my friend Thomas, he's considering selling his 135i, and
I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a good topic of conversation. That is, I asked him why, because he's just like, he's a BMW guy, and then he's just kind of like, the market is fluctuating in such a weird way, and it's been bothering me for a couple months, and then as of this, now I'm just kind of like, this is getting crazy, to where I guess the value of his particular car is almost up to where he bought it for. And then that led me to go to like Bring a Trailer, and I was looking at the cars on Bring a Trailer, and there's not even decent 240Zs or 260Zs that are they're starting at $5,000, right? And I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's an old car. It's a cool looking car. I wouldn't say it's a great car, like mechanically and like all that stuff, like if you look at it, like, okay, it's not a crazy fucking good car. But what I am starting to see a lot on Bring a Trailer is like GSRs, Type Rs, and they're starting at $6,000, and it's like Acura GSR, 80,000, 90,000 miles, and it's starting at 6, and many of them are being sold at like 9, maybe even 10 if it's really cool, or everyone's just biting. And Jesus. I'm 32, and I'm looking at all these cars that are now like outrageous, right? The E30 market, fucking insane. Like $15,000 for an E30 nowadays. There's like a really nice one, but like that price is there. Datsun 510s, dude. Like 10 years ago, they're not cool cars. I mean, obviously they're cool cars. Don't get me wrong, but like they were just another car, like the A86, like the Up to Speed video where it's like, it's just a Corolla. It's like, yeah, these were just little commuter cars, and somehow like now it's 2018. And if you want a really nice 510, it's like $20,000.
There's not too many cars, and there's a lot of car guys.
Yeah.
And there's more and more car guys every day. Every single day, there's brand new 18-year-olds with licenses. And there's a small percentage of those people every day that get their license that are into cars.
Yeah.
And there's just not a widespread amount of new cars that are out that have been sought out for, even in the past decade.
Yeah.
There's like a handful, man. But there's not like how there used to be, I feel like, just like kind of we were saying earlier, man, it's the end of an era.
It is.
I think these toy cars are coming to an end, and I don't know how many left that'll be coming out will be fuck-withable.
Yeah, exactly.
To this level.
Exactly. And, I also do wonder that, obviously, we're in the Bay Area, we're in California, this is like car state, you know what I mean? Like no rust, we have the beach, like all that scene, and I'm always curious, like what the cars are like in the Midwest, or like the North, like in the Dakotas, and like, maybe in Texas and stuff like that. Like, what's that like? Like right now, a like 6 out of 10 EF Civic is still $2,000.
You know what I've been thinking about a lot lately, man? What in the fuck am I gonna do with these cars after I die? What?
Like who's gonna get them afterwards?
I mean, what's the I'm trying to understand the point. All the way from where I'm at now to when I die.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of life am I going to give these cars all the way up until that point? And am I going to give them to someone? Are they going to be sought out for relics? Will they not be sought out for?
Yeah. You're just going to be put into a capsule and just drop down in it?
I was thinking today, dude, it's been since April since I drove my Del Sol. Since we went out with Fenton, Zygrain for that thing. It's been April, so almost a whole year since I've driven the car since then, and I felt like it wasn't really running that great, right?
Yeah.
And I was just thinking today, it's like, driving it, it's like, man, good thing the owner, like me, good thing I'm driving this right now, because of all of its quirky, weird torque steer, and like, and temperamental first, and gotta stay in the gas, and all that stuff. Like, you'll break the car if you're not driving it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that way with even my cars in their current state. Like, I don't know, if you've watched my channel and you've gotten this far and you've seen my cars, they're like, what you even said it, right? You were just like, the Del Sol is your cleanest car, like, for a Christian car. And I laughed at that because, like, I have been purely into making it run. And no matter in what state it is,
yeah.
it will run. Yeah. And if anyone else drove my car, they'd be like, dude, your fucking motor's gonna drop out. And like, holy shit, dude, you need to fix this. And I'm just like, I'll drive to Vegas right now in my car, dude.
My dad's
I
the
know
king of that, man. We used to drive in the back of his Challenger, and like the rust would have eaten through the floor. Oh and like I distinctly remember like eating candies in the back of the car and like dropping the fucking wrapper out the bottom of the car and shit. My God, yeah, like it was just like sketch, dude. Yeah, and dude,
don't put your feet down. Like
still to this day, man, over 400. I think he said over 500,000 miles.
What?
Man.
On that same motor?
Yeah.
Jesus.
73 Dodge Challenger, base model, automatic with the Tiptronic or whatever, dude. Who knows? Whatever that is.
They'll build them like they used to.
Jesus, I mean that is real Detroit metal. That thing is lasting a long time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine it still runs. But you know, like when I hear him start it, like it's a process. It's not like when I was a kid. Like I kind of hear him like start it, be loud, it'd wake you up in the morning, you know, when he was going to work, and then you pull out, look at the.
Now you wake up the whole block.
Yeah, now it's like when he starts it, it's like a process. He's got to sit on the gas for a second, then get off for a minute, get back on the gas again, like really warm it up.
I know what she needs, you know what I mean? I need to get her.
Yeah.
I need to hear that purr that I'm like, she's ready.
Yeah, it's a beater, man. It's a beater, but it's also rare as fuck and it's straight. I would hope one day if something great happens to me, then I could restore it for him.
Something.
It'd be sick to have. Dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
He still gets offers and stuff for that thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's nuts,
OG,
dude.
man.
OG.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who else I was talking to, like, about... I mean, if we're talking about old cars, it's not even... Okay, it's not even old cars, but, like... who was I... I was talking to somebody... Anyways, my bad. I was talking to somebody, and they were just like... Hand-me-down cars are different now. Or will be, right? Yeah. Because, like, a hand-me-down could be your dad's car to you. You know what I mean? But there's kids that are younger, like 18, 19, and their hand-me-down is their dad's commuter 8th gen Civic. You know what I mean? And so, like, this dude's first car is James's car. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what you're getting? That's fucking crazy.
I worry about my uncle's car because he's got that 69 GT 500.
Ah, that's right.
And it's like, that was his first car. It's cherry as fuck. But it's also, like, if you checked it out up close and you really looked at everything, you'd be like, this man has touched everything. You know what I mean? Like, every single thing on this car has been, like, taken off and put back on, and, like, and everything has been, like, done a certain way, a particular way its entire life, that it's like, you can't just hand that car down to someone. Like, they legitimately would need to be apprenticed into how to even care for it.
Yeah.
You know? And that's why I think you could leave a car like that out in the ghetto in Oakland, or even an NSX, honestly, bro, and people won't fuck with it strictly based on... It's not a Civic, you know? Yeah. People won't fuck with it because they're like, I don't know how to keep a car like looking like this from 69, or you know, or how the hell, like, they're just so baffled by the fact that they're seeing basically an art project sitting on the street that, like, I even think, like, the ghettoest of fools will be like, I'm not gonna fuck with that thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you got to also think that for the car to look as immaculate as it is, if you see something starting, like, let's just like oxidation or something, you know what I mean? Like, the way it looks now is because, like, you saw it and you're like, that's what I'm doing today. Take it off, polish it, manicure it, put it back.
It's a battle.
And it's like, you're constantly doing that. You can't just, like, keep it in your garage, even in your garage, and just be like, it's always going to look like this. It's kind of like, oh, hold on, this is looking bad. Shh, let me fix this, put it back. And it's like a maintainment process.
Man, you know, cars have only been here, like, the coolest ones for like 100 years. And it's like all the, you know, mid-age to older age gentlemen with all these, like, classic cars that fall along the same lines that we're talking about, with, like, you know, lots of just ancient, like, think about all the meticulous Mugen and spoon and all these parts that, you know, that's like, when you hand this to somebody, they're not gonna even fucking know what the hell they're looking at, dude. Or even if they are a car guy or even a Honda guy, you know, it's like, you still might not even understand everything that you're actually taking in when you're looking at all this. And I think about the people that are, you know, older than us and they have those kind of cars, and they, what are they supposed to do with them, and how is anyone supposed to appreciate it the same way? Those old guys that have like the manual for everything and all the records for this and every brochure that came with it, because they feel about that car the same way that we do about our Hondas, and there's a story about behind every single part or every single zip tie. It's like, how do you hand that on like that? All the nostalgia in that art, in that material good, all of that can't really be fully understood. It can't be nostalgic for somebody else,
Yeah, and so like with that, it's like a lot of things. Obviously, everything holds stories, and it's also weird that like things are only as valuable as like people. Things are only as valuable as the person who thinks they're valuable. Like, it could just be anything, but to someone else, there's like you said, there's a storyline to it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why, like, obviously the muscle cars, all those guys have tons of stories, and it could be a set of wheels, it could be a chassis, an actual car, like, oh, that's so-and-so's car, and the guy who had it before that was that, and the guy who had it before that was that, and like, oh, wow, this has a huge history.
Yeah, it's like when my Del Sol's dirty and it's been sitting under the car cover for a couple months, and then like you uncover it. It's like the average person, those like, oh, here's like a dusty ass old car. You open it and it smells like kind of like mildew because the Del Sol top leaks a little bit, and everything. But like when I smell that smell, it's just like, oh man, childhood, or like, man, oh, my memories from like all these crazy times that I've had. Like, there's so many times where I just like smell the inside of that car, and it just like, I could just stand there and get lost, like zoning out, being like, damn.
Yeah, dude, how long you've had it, and just kind of like what, like when we showed up to the shop today and I saw your car, like, you're right in the sense that just because you have TEs on it and a seat, everything else is pretty OEM. It was like, this is the car I met you in.
Yeah, dude.
And it doesn't look very different,
it doesn't, dude.
It doesn't look very different.
I was thinking about that, dude.
But like, it's been like close to 10 years of like, oh, I bought this wheel, I changed this, I changed that. But it's like,
real talk, dude. Most of the stuff that I've done in that car is legitimately under the hood and shit.
Yeah.
Or the, under the, suspension and stuff like that. All that time and all that labor and all that stuff is really, I'm not trying to say that I'm not a racer, but I didn't spend it on the way that my car looks, dude.
Yeah, it's like that. You were in a show in San Jose, and you were being judged off. You were being judged off
so
mods.
Mad. Yeah,
dude.
So I went to a San Jose auto show, and it was a dope one. It was indoors, and there was just like a lot of like custom cars there, and there was anyways, long story short, I got a trophy for third best Honda. Like, the guy who won first was literally, it was a 91 Prelude, which is super strange, fucking generation Prelude to begin with, but he had like thousands of fucking Kragen, like, parts bin fucking like chrome this and that, and like the guy who was that's not what made me mad. Like, do you bro, dress your car up however you want to dress up. You want to put 1 million vents on it and fucking chrome trim on every single panel gap that you can find, by all means do that. But if you're a judge and you're walking around and you're basically judging a car by how many mods they've done, not the quality. So this guy, like, he was just like, well, this Prelude's got like 200 mods on it, so he wins. So like me and this other guy were just like, oh my god, dude,
how is this even happening?
Like, I was so bitter, dude. I was like, this is not cool.
This is not cool, bro.
It was funny though. It's all good. I don't give a shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, but. Yeah, man, not that many cars left to go around, and it's going to be weird. Mm-hmm. It's going to be weird just to see what happens in the next fucking couple of years.
Yeah, and not like 10, like 5 or less.
No.
This guy actually hit me up in my comments, and he was just kind of like, I think he's a bit older than me, like in his 40s, I think he said, and he's just like, I used to have an 89 hatch, and like, I'm watching all these videos, and it's like, I'd love to have one again. And from what I read from it, I was just like, dude, you can still have an 89 hatch, absolutely, bro. Like, go find it. And then he's like, yeah, I'm looking and this and that. And so I try to put myself in like his perspective. And like, for me, like, I'm always on Craigslist. I'm always looking around, and I'll look at a car and I'll be like, oh, $1,000, oh, $1,500. But like, now I'm older, and I think about like, if I was 40 and I wanted to get like a hatch again, I would be trying to find the most OEM hatch I could find, just because like this is a perfect representation. Like I want to start nice.
It's not even. I hate to say it, man. It's not even about being fast anymore, dude. I hate that, dude. Like I loved. I don't know. I'm probably gonna get hella hated on for this, but like, I loved the street racing scene, dude.
Dude,
like,
no, like that's still the best
God,
part.
I loved it, dude, and like. Man, I feel like, so, I mean, you know, my fastest car that I've ever had is definitely my Del Sol. Yeah. It's, I feel like it was just too late. Like, I swapped that thing back in 2010, you know, in retrospect, it seems like a long time ago, but it's like, dude, I never had the chance, like, my list of cars that I smoked were only, like, defined by the generation that I had my swap in, you know? So it's, like, a lot of SRT8s and stuff like that. And, like, man, I remember before I even had my license driving around, and every once in a while you would see, like, some random blue Integra that would have, like, a blow-off valve sound, you know? And you're like, oh, shit, like, there's turbo Hondas on the streets. Yeah. It's like, not anymore, dude.
Is that a thing? Like, they're not on the streets anymore?
No, dude. Right? Like, when's the last time you pulled, you know, like a random Honda that was actually like stealable, came up and was just like, oh my god, that's hella sick. Yeah. That never happens.
No, like it's you don't see like, any fancy ass cars anymore.
Not stealable cars. It's always like a really nice TSX that's got some wheels and it's like, you're like, oh, that's cool. I'd daily the shit out of that TSX, you know? Right? Yeah, but it's never like an EG hatch with like a B18 turbo. Yeah. Like, where's that guy at?
Where's that
representing?
guy at?
It's like, it's not worth the risk anymore, dude.
It's,
It sucks, man.
It sucks, yeah. All you see is a lot of beaters, you know? And, I don't know, it's
just
weird.
New cars, and, you know, you see a lot of guys and nice new cars that aren't even really new car guys. They're like cell phone guys, and that's like the latest cell phone. You know, that's really what it is, and it's like... I don't know, man. I fear that we're going into a generation where there's just not as many car guys. I mean, I work in tech, and, like, the past 2 jobs I've had, it's, like, been 1, maybe 2 car guys, dude. Like, I mean, the last job I was at, there was no car guys. You know, I show up there, and it's like, you know, I got a bunch of buddies at work, and you're just like, hey, is anyone here into cars at all? It's like, everyone steps back, like, I don't know shit about cars. It's like, damn it, guys.
Yeah, it's weird. That's and if they do buy cars, they're, like, expensive cars. They're not, like, tuner cars, I guess. Yeah, like, you're not really trying to wrench or even buy little things for your car. You're just trying to have that.
Yeah, that. You just want to invite me to cruises and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but... Your car's stock, man. You're not feeling it. You're not feeling the passion. Stock, you just want to go to events and say that you're cool now because you have that. It's just like, man, play with it.
Yeah, that's the fun part. That's why I really get excited when I see people that like want to track their car, or they buy an S2000, which is like, you know, one of my favorite cars.
We should talk about how the fuck is that the flavor of the week now.
Oh, yeah, everybody wants an S2000 now.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Like, all of a sudden, everybody I know wants an S2000
You know?
Even me, kind of. And I don't even like S2000s like that.
And honestly, it goes back to, like, what we were talking about of cars that are going to go up in value instantly now. And it's just kind of like, okay, Honda, what did you do? You delivered us an FR chassis, and then you gave it to us for a good amount of years, and then you were done with it.
Yeah, the S2000's great, man. Yeah, I think that's one of those final cars that everyone's trying to swoop up. Yes. You notice that car never dipped below 10. No. There's only a couple salvage title ones below that, and some questionable like other ones.
Questionable ones, like why are you 7?
Dude, they're all like. I mean, honestly, if you want to save up some money and get an S2000 and feel like you got yourself a good S2000, you need like $15,000. Yeah. You know, for sure. Yeah. And then that's like AP1 status still. Yeah. You know, if you want AP2, I've seen them go for like 20 still. Yeah. It's like, Jesus
20, Christ, 25, man. 22. And it's just like, oh my God, it's fucking crazy.
It's because the FRS came out and then and then it's like, oh, the S2000's still better.
It is. Just not even by fanboy, just it is. Like,
no, it for sure is.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I can't describe it.
It's not limited by... Man, cars just don't have souls anymore, dude. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make this podcast all about doom and gloom, but like...
No, it's not even about that even at all.
Dude, it's like... Everything about the car scene right now seems like we're headed in this direction where we're just not gonna have this kind of we're not gonna have this kind of passion and freedom to do these things that we want to do anymore. And cars are just so nerfed, dude. Like, God, they're nerfed so bad.
What do you mean by nerfed?
Like, they're meant to sell, you know? They're meant to sell the numbers. This is a conversation people have had a million times, but it's just like they're meant to, like, sell to the masses and gain revenue to keep up.
And you're meant to, like, use it, too.
Yeah,
your car has an expiration date, almost, you know? And, like, you'll buy a car, and it's kind of like, okay, cool, you got your fucking 80,000 miles out of it. Let's turn it in and get another one.
I also feel like a lot of cars ended up with a lot of letters and numbers as names as I got older, too. Like, whatever happened to a car having an actual name? I mean, God, this is the worst name ever, but like a Del Sol. You know what I mean?
Who thought of that?
Or an El Camino. Yeah. You know, like a car that had like, those are two Mexican car names.
Yeah,
it was
great.
funny that I picked those. But like...
And they're both... very weird cars, dude.
Yeah.
They're very weird.
In fact, if you take the Del Sol's trunk off, it would look like a Del Camino.
It's true.
It'd look like a little truck.
Del Camino. Oh my god, dude. It's so.
But like, you know what I mean?
It's
though?
a fucking Del Ute.
Cars just don't have names anymore. It's like even like the TSX, like that car's the Accord, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, dude.
It is the Accord.
I feel like. If you want to get super nerdy, I kind of feel like cars these days, if you want to look at it in the terms of MMORPGs like World of Warcraft, it's like when you get a blueprint for the next weapon or something, and it's like the cars these days have a great blueprint. The technology for cars keeps getting better, but it's like the materials being used, you could tell, are not materials used in a defining generation of making sure that your car lasts forever. Like, dude, I worked with this guy that was like, I need to get... Dude, this was... whatever, I'll just use... Anyways, this guy at work was like, I need to get a new car soon. And I'm like, oh, what year is your car? He's like, oh, it's a 2008. No, well, this was in 2012, though. Like, this was when I worked at EA. This was a long time ago. It was literally like 4 years old.
Okay.
And I was like, what do you have? He's like, oh, an IS 300. Wait. What's that cool? The cool one?
300.
IS 300.
I think that is 300.
That was that cool one. That Alteza.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember being like, "Oh, those are cool."
Those are cool.
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck, man? You don't need a new car. That thing's cool." But it's just the mindset. It's just the mindset of the generation, man. People are just looking to lease and like get the. Dude, that's why I'm saying, man, I really wanted that Type R for a long time. As soon as we were seeing pictures of it, I was like, oh, I'm gonna sell my CRZ and get that Type R so fast. And then like my uncle like slapped me and fucking put some thought into my head, and he's like, dude, if you're gonna pay that much, especially markup for one of these things, just get an NSX, man. It's been your dream car forever.
Yeah,
blah, I get my NSX. I just feel like I'm out of that rat race, dude. I'm out of that rat race of being like, I know for sure if I would have gotten this Type R, I would have loved it and everything would have been cool. But I guarantee you the next Type R is coming out, or the next car, and I'm gonna be playing that leapfrog game again, just like I do with phones, dude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I don't want to be wanting the newest shit out, and now it's like, fuck it, I bought a car that's not impressive on paper. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck it, I'm out of that shit. You want to talk shit about not being fast? Like, go for it. But
it also really makes me laugh that whenever I think of the NSX or your NSX, I still feel like it's a new car until I sit back and realize that it's like 2 years older than my hatch. So it's like, okay, it's a 91. And so it's also funny to think about that, like, Honda started making the NSX when it released like the EF chassis.
It was like the beginning of its heyday.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it was launching, but they're like, hey, we got the Econo. Don't worry about it.
Man, you know what would have been fucking crazy, man, if the NA2, because it came out in the 2000s, if it would have had like some sort of K-Series type of variant motor or something.
I didn't even think about that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it came out in the time of... Dude, that fucking C-Series came out in, for 15 years.
Yeah.
That same
fucking motor. Didn't even think about it. Yeah, no joke, huh?
Jesus, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy. Dude, I always think the NSX is a new car.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you though, dude, when you do drive it though, it totally feels like an early 90s Honda inside. Like in the way that you just kind of like, I mean, I don't have anything bad I want to say about my car, but fuck it, there's things, it's like the way that the window doesn't defrost like my CRZ did, where it's like, if I just look at my defrost button on the CRZ, it'd be like, defrosting windshield, defrosted. You know, but like in this car, you kind of still feels like you're when you're driving that night, you're squinting your eyes trying to see things, and like you know, you kind of feel like you're driving that old car still.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know, like
or
it's
when
obvious.
you say that like every NSX, like the radio doesn't work. Like,
yeah.
Why? Why wouldn't the radio work?
Yeah, dude, the radio doesn't work, and the passenger side window goes up hella slow. Like when I bring chicks into the car, I teach them how to like put your index finger press against the window and it'll make it go up faster. Yeah. You gotta help me with that. It needs a little don't help. Fucking grab it. Don't make it go faster. Be nice to it.
Oh my god, dude. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I trip out, like I brought this up before, but like I super trip out on the fact that like I mean I'm 32 years old and like when I was 6 years old, my car, which is a 91, was already like born. It was already on the streets.
It was running.
It was intact running.
Yeah.
Like Jesus, dude.
No, you brought that up. Yeah, that someone it's been cared for long enough to where you could own it in its current state.
Yes, that is the statement. What you just said. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like it was cared for by 2 people before me. In a way where it is in the state that I have it now, 30 years later.
So, like, 2 other people babied
once I thought about that, like, I was like, it is my fucking duty to make sure this thing stays good. And I don't crash it.
Pass the torch.
You know, it's like, you gotta be respectful of it, you know what I mean? It's been around and was conscious of many things before I was even gave a fuck about anything,
Dude,
you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, man, and the fact that it runs and how smoothly it runs and everything, like when my Del Sol was running, I was like, oh man, my car's running good. It was like, yeah, okay, well your motor's from 2007. That's true. It's like it's not like it's that much of a shock.
Yeah.
You know, but the NSX, like it still feels like, yeah, this thing's old though, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, you have that sense of satisfaction knowing that like some OGs in Japan put it together though. It wasn't assembled in Ohio.
No.
By some dudes that were on a staff meeting and fucking came back to London and were like, oh fuck, where do these retainers go and these valves? Fuck. Is it 3 or 4? Fuck.
Is it 3 or 4?
You know, it's like, dude, you heard about the new Focus, the Ford Focus ST? There was a problem where a bunch of them had the wrong valve cover gasket. They had it misplaced with or mismatched with the new Mustang valve cover head gasket. I guess
that's
weird.
The
V8 to the one of the sides.
Yeah.
I guess it was compatible.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so the Mustang, dude, so the Ford Focus engine is literally half a Mustang engine, kind of.
That's interesting.
Yeah, think about it, if that's even the case.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
I'll look into that.
Yeah, but anyways, apparently a bunch of them, like I was just watching the Smoking Tire, and Matt was talking about that. He was talking about how he was fortunate enough to get one of the Ford Focuses that didn't have the wrong valve cover gasket.
Interesting.
Or no, it was head gasket. It was head gasket. Not valve cover gasket. That wouldn't be that detrimental.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but no, it's
a
fucking
really messy.
head gasket. Yeah, it'd be
head gasket would be detrimental, dude. Dirty, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's interesting, though.
Yeah, so I mean, that's
just coming back from fucking staff meeting, just like, did you grab box 12A?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, dude.
Lined up, all the head studs fucking lined up. All the holes.
Dude. Yeah.
I mean, there was this one.
I saw this little tab here, but I just cut that shit off. We're fine. Yeah. We're good.
Typical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It's a trip to drive around in an old car, man.
Yeah.
You know. It's tight, dude.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I think about this to myself a lot too. That I'm just like I'm stuck in the era. I'm not. I mean, it's not like I'm not excited about new cars, but I'm still just like, I want to see old cars. And I do. It's also weird because I will drive by some guy in a DA or even an Integra, and I look over. It looks low, but I'll give it a look over like, are you that? Do you just have like a cut spring car? Or are you like into...
I went to a sandwich spot the other day, and this dude with an 84 wagon Civic Shuttle pulls up, just like my brother's old one.
Whoa.
And I was like, no way, dude. And he was just like some older gentleman, and I was talking to him about it. He was like, yep, it's reliable. Yep, it's a good car. But I was trying to pick at him and be like, how much into this are you?
Yeah.
And it's like, he wasn't really.
That's interesting.
You know, so I was like, man, this guy is just...
But he was in it enough to keep
faithful,
it running, though.
Faithful.
You know what I mean?
Someone likes it
cool.
enough to get him into it. Or something. So I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
Some people still do drive Hondas from back then that are just... They're the kind of people that are just like, well, it's running.
Yep.
oh, this is, you know, a couple $100 fix. Fuck it, fix it. It's been treating me good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still...
Yeah, there's never like, oh, well, it's time to move on. Fuck
I'll
it.
definitely give props or thumbs up to people in other, like, old school Hondas that look at me and they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
it must be
man.
weird coming out of an NSX, you know?
Yeah. Oh, dude. I am like the Honda Patriot in that thing, dude. Dude, I swear to God, I make everybody that's driving a Honda feel so tight. Like, I saw a DA driving by the other day that was actually pretty sick in your green color that you like.
Oh, sick, yeah.
Yeah, and he was driving by. He was like, kind of had the ricer bounce to him and stuff. And I was like, oh, tight. I look over, and he was just like, he looked at me, and he was just like, oh, fucking NSX. And I was like, hey, dude, sick ass car. Basically, any Honda that's driving around, I'll give him a thumbs up and be like, hey, your car's hella tight.
Yeah, dude.
You know, I want them to be like, oh, it's sick. The NSX guy, I thought my car was sick.
Yeah, because I want them to, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want them to like their car as much as I do seeing it on the road.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And meanwhile, when I see like the guy in the M3 that's got his window down, then he glances over and gives me props. Sometimes I'll just give them the smoldering look, and I'm just like, nah. If I had my dull soul,
and that's how you know
you'd be giving me a look. So
yeah, dude, that's how you
know.
Cool, you're just like, I'm not giving you props.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just no.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
no
funny,
one's driving an NSX around that's not like a hardcore Honda guy.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not just
that's
into...
not a hardcore Honda guy?
Yeah,
oh, no, they wanted that car.
I feel like if you're just into Japanese cars in general and you wanted one of the final four, more likely than not, you're going to pick a Supra or a Skyline or an ARC-7.
Is that what you mean by final four?
Yeah, you're not going to pick like... Most people, I feel like, aren't going to pick an NSX. It's like until you see it in person.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dang, okay.
Yeah. GTR. Oh, I'll take a Supra.
Yeah.
An NSX is just like, I don't... People, yeah, you're right. Maybe people just don't really think about it.
Even though it's, like, respected as much as, like, the rest of the Final Four, I feel like it's still, like... Maybe it's because it's not one of the cars that we didn't get. You know, we did see NSXs in America growing up. You know, it was not common, but you still, like, you would see them once in a while. Like, oh, cool, an NSX. You never saw a Skyline.
No.
So most people will be like, oh, GTR or Skyline.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm seeing a lot of people with Skylines. Well, I haven't seen too many here, but I'm seeing a lot of people getting them now.
Yeah, definitely. People
and it's just like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like one, sure.
The next
but like
7 years, I mean, we're going to see so many 90s cars rolling in now.
Yep.
Which is cool.
That's cool.
That's cool.
I like it.
Yeah, that's going to make things interesting for sure.
It now lets me get my favorite cars from Japan.
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted a right-hand drive EG, like, you could legitimately get that
What's up
now.
with a Honda City Turbo 2 or something? How dope would that be?
That'd be great. With a Motocompo in the back, just
I
like,
feel like
at
this point, if you know about Hondas and you can import one, get a cool one.
Get a cool one.
Yeah. You don't have to get a Type R.
No.
You don't have to get an NSX.
No.
Or
at this point,
anything
stand out. If you can get something that old, get a fucking key truck if you can. Like, just get something.
If you're gonna spend money to get an STI and VIP it out or whatever, dude, you could get like a dope ass old Accord from Japan or an old Civic from Japan with like the headlights on the fenders and all that.
Yeah.
VIP that out, spend way less money, and people will be like, oh shit.
Yeah, and you'd be the only one.
Yeah.
You'd be the only one.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's cool.
Like Pez, dude, he rolls around in that right-hand drive Civic.
Yeah.
And that thing looks weird. Like, you pull up behind it and you're like, is that an Accord? Like, no, I guess it's a Civic. And it, like, fucks with your Honda mind. Then you get up next and you're like, oh, it's right-hand drive. Oh, it's a weird generation
That's
Civic.
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And it's funny, he's not even a hard... I mean, he's driving that car around. I mean, I was going to say, he's not even that hardcore of a Honda guy. I think he is deep down on the inside.
You know?
Yeah, even though he likes his, like, rear-wheel drive Corolla and he loves the drift scene and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it before he went to, I think, Winter Jam. He got his BMW, like, wrapped. That shit looks tight. He put a lot of work into it.
Pez is super JDM.
Yeah, at heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, super JDM. Goes down deep.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Yeah.
What time is it? I don't even know. 9:30? Cool.
Well.
9:40. Yeah.
I mean...
I don't know, man.
It's a good conversation.
It's a good conversation, dude.
We should definitely do some more of these.
Yeah. Yeah. I was, that's what I was thinking. It's just like a weekly at some point. There's I've talked to a couple people that, want to do this format with, basically. but like it'd be good to just have like a reoccurring.
Yeah, hey man, I'm down.
Yeah, dude.
And if I could muster up the energy right now and I can stop slacking off, I might try to work on my social media stuff some more and maybe make something into my YouTube channel.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm fucking telling you, my
yeah.
God. Like I was so annoyed if like when you were working on your fucking NSX and you're like, oh, painted the cover, I did fucking all of this, and I'm just like in my head, I'm just like.
Yeah, it was all lost footage.
Just, yeah, dude, it was just. Well,
I just
but
get
at the same
lost
time,
in it
was you in your car though.
Yeah,
so
like,
it was just like, what am I really gonna do?
I'm not gonna lie, the thought didn't even cross my mind, dude. Like I was so into it, and like I don't know what it is, dude. There's something about like, just I don't know how to not make it sound cheesy, but just being like, the guy in his car, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's
and
true.
I was just like, I love my car so fucking much, dude. That like. Spending time with it to like when I know I don't have anything to do and I can just sit back with a cup of coffee and find little projects.
Yeah.
Oh my God, like that's probably the funnest time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've seen I've seen a few people that are making videos and you watch their videos and it's just like they've straight up just said like I didn't record. I just did it because like this is what I was trying to do. But like make a fucking like cool video for you. It's like
I'll try to make some cool videos. It's hard for me to like separate like my actual passion and really try to create something out of it like this, like you are, just because like I really do love it so much that I don't care about people seeing me do it. Like I just like to do it, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I definitely want to work on it. I feel like I mean it's fun to be on social media and you know. We'll see what happens in the next couple months.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Or it'd be cool just to even document it for yourself.
Yeah,
just
there's
like,
that too.
And just be like, yep, this is what it looked like this month, and then this is what happened later. So
oh, man.
I don't know.
And I'm talking a lot about an exhaust and a spoiler.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's coming soon, man.
And it's funny to me because like you know we don't have to talk about what you're planning to do, but it's like that. That is DJ. Like what you're planning is just kind of like, and that's how you know where this guy came from. Yep. Like his roots are about the show, and it's just like yes, it's an NSX, but I'm me. Yeah. So this is what you're getting.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Updates to come for sure.
Updates to come for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can just call this one.
Yeah. Hit me up next time, dude.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Cool. All right, guys. I don't know if you got this far, but if you did, awesome. I got a couple other people I want to talk to in the next coming weeks. Already kind of talked about them for a bit, or talked to them about doing it, so hopefully we can keep this thing going. And then, if you got topics or people, just hit me up in the comments, man. I love talking about cars and the community and people, and as much as cars, like there's... what was I trying to say? As much as having car history, there's people history. You know what I mean? Like everyone that built a car is there for a reason. They've got their own stories. So it's just cool to hear other people ramble on about cars. You know, it's not lost. It's just them like ranting, but it's cool. There's cool stuff to learn. But all right, guys, that's the end of this one, and see you in the next one. Peace.